This is Zach Moss, NFL running back and former Utah Utes running back. You're listening to the Utah Utes Football Digest, the source for Utah Utes football. Go Utes.
All right, Utes fans, welcome back. We've got football back after that bye week. Hopefully the team is rested up and feeling good and ready to get out there and put up a great showing against USC. I'm really excited to break this down with you guys. I think we'll have a lot of good insight today and really talk about a matchup-ridden game. It's all over the place. There's matchups galore. We got a lot to look into, but before we do that, the first thing I want to do is cover a little bit of business. First thing, obviously it's not super football related, but it looks like Aaron Lowe's suspected murderer was arrested, and he is in jail, so hopefully that gets taken care of, and we have an official announcement that they found the guy that murdered that young man. Very sad. I don't want to dive too into it. I don't want to make this too sad of a note. I made a whole video talking about it, and wish him and his family the best. The other thing I want to talk about is Utah's opponents that we lost to. So the two people we lost to were BYU and San Diego State. Now check this out. BYU is the number 10 team in the country right now. What does that mean? They're very legit. Also, San Diego State, the number 25 team in the country right now. Excuse me, if you guys are paying attention and you've been following the videos so far, you knew when we played both these guys before and after, I told you these were not just walkover teams. These were legit opponents that we were facing, and now they're both in the top 25. And like I've said many times, I'm not going to be surprised if both of these guys finish in the top 20. They were really good teams, and they weren't easy, and we were all over the place, and we were trying to come together as a team, and we just weren't able to. So hopefully, hopefully as time goes on, we're proven right how good these teams were. And the cool thing is, when your losses are both in the top 25, that's going to help us a lot in the top 25 rankings for the AP poll. Now, I don't know how close we are to being ranked. I think we're probably a little ways outside of that. I just wanted to show this to you guys and kind of just break it down, just let you know we were playing good teams. I wouldn't be surprised if a win or two could get us back in that top 25 conversation, considering how good the teams we lost to are. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive right into the matchups, guys. So we are playing USC this week. Probably the best team in the USC South other than us. Real good matchup, real tough opponent. Let's talk about their quarterback, Kedon Slovis. Obviously, one of the guys with the most hype coming into this year. Excuse me again. He has a lot of hype coming into this year. Big time playmaker. I know a lot of people had him in the top 2, top 3 quarterback. A lot of people just outside of Sam Howell and Spencer Rattler. The guy's a playmaker. He's got an arm. He's able to make big explosive plays, and he's going to be someone we're going to need to contain. But the big guy I really want to take a look at is going to be the wide receiver for USC. If you guys have been following them, especially last week, you're going to know who I'm talking about. The guy we're going to be talking about is Drake London. Let's get him pulled up here. So kind of there's good and bad when you look at the receivers for USC. They have one superstar. His name's Drake London. The guy's a monster. Check out this grade. He's the number 10 receiver in all of college football, and that's playing against pretty stiff competition. He's number 15 on USC, 85.6 overall grade, and so much of that is receiving. I just want you guys to take a look at that. 87.1 of that grade is receiving. His run blocking is not even good, which does factor in for receivers. This is going to be a key guy for us. He really is. When it comes to Drake London, if we're not on top of our game, we are going to struggle big time. The good news is that their other 2 receivers that are getting reps out there are pretty terrible. That's a good sign. So that means, yeah, he is no joke. Let me be clear. He is legit NFL caliber first round type of talent. When you watch him, he is a playmaker. He can wreck your game if you don't smother him with coverage. He really can. Even smothered with coverage, this guy's making one-handed grabs in the end zone last week against Colorado. I mean, seriously, a guy that can ruin your day. So we need to make sure we're onto it. I mean, just to kind of touch on it, this passing game is legit. If we let them pick on us, they're going to. It's going to be really important for the game plan when we play USC to make sure that we use the talent that we have in coverage to address him. Well, let me show you what I'm talking about here. So when we're looking at our team against USC, when we're trying to shut down Drake London, the main guy we're going to be talking about, we've got two real good corners. I mean, these are good grades. So we've got number 15 and number 23, Fabian Marks and Maloney Mattielli, a 72.7 and a 71.8. Marks has a 71 coverage grade, 71.8, and then Mattielli has a 69.4. I mean, these are not, neither one of these guys are guys that we're going to say, okay, put him on Drake London, shut him down, we can forget about him. No, that's not the case. But these are very good corners. These are not just, your run-of-the-mill guys. We need to be able to use these two to work him. And so what does that mean? They're not going to be losing by themselves. Or they might lose by themselves, but they're not going to be shutting him down by themselves. We also have a very good safety over the top in Vontae Davis. Now, I think what we're going to see in this game is going to be a matchup of trying to stop Drake London. And Vontae Davis, one of the best safeties in college football, number 15 in all of college football, and 78.0 of that is a coverage. I mean, we want him over the top. I really think that we have a good shot to get him out of this game. Maybe not get him out. I mean, the truth is, when I look at Drake London, some of my notes were that, we have good coverage grades, we got good corners, we got a great safety over the top in Vontae Davis. Let's just make sure we shut this guy out, or at least spotlight him. Because we have a lot of other things from the game is realistic with USC. But I think when you look at those matchups, I think a lot of people just look at Drake London, right? And they stop worrying about the other parts of their game. The good news for us, maybe holding the 80 good players on our defense, can't let this guy tee off on us. That we can put if two really good players in him are able to lighting up Drake London and still have beasts, just throw the ball on us at will. I mean, it's going to be a long day. We are one of the better defenses in the country. I don't think that I'm going out of bounds by saying we're a top 20, top 25 defense. I really don't. And now let's look at the next matchup. So after their wide receivers, which is really just Drake London, we can put anybody on the other two receivers, but we need to spotlight Drake London. Now that we're looking at their running backs, so this is another big part of USC's game. It's their running backs. They're not incredible running backs, okay? But they're good. They're serviceable running backs. You see this? 72.9, 69.4. This guy's deadly. Number 28, 78.5 run grade. And both of them are solid receiving backs too, so they're good for little dump-offs. 78.5 run grade's elite, just so you guys know. For running backs, look, a 72.9 is number 90 in the country. 78.5 running grade's really good. I was watching this guy when they played Colorado. The guy's real explosive, can break away. Keontae Ingram. It's going to be important, not that we completely shut these guys down, but we use our elite linebacking core to limit them. I'll show you our linebackers in a minute. Those of you that have been following the channel and watched the bye-week breakdown know that our linebackers are, top of the charts. I mean, this is one of the top line. When I said we're one of the top better defenses in the country, we are top 5, top 10 linebacker group conversation. Our linebacker group is as legit as it gets. But what we need to look at for USC before I talk about the linebackers is also their offensive line. So, they have good running backs, but this is what happens. Good running backs become elite when they have what? When they have a great offensive line. So, let's take a look at this offensive line. Boom. So, first, their center. So right off the bat, legit. Solid run blocker. I'd say good run blocker, elite pass blocker. That's how Keaton Slovis has so much time to just find, to let Drake London get open and make something happen. And then that's not the end of this amazing offensive line. It keeps going. There's one weak spot on this offensive line. It's one of the two tackles, but just keep looking. I mean, we're talking about elite offensive line play throughout this entire O-line. So look at those three guards. A 79.5. He's the number 11 guard in all of college football. We got Andrew Voorhees, beast, number 72. I mean, look at these offensive guards. I mean, all of them are top 50. Those three are better than any offensive lineman we have on our team. I mean, and look at some of these run block grades, guys. These guys are road graders. Let's look at their tackles too, but I'm just pointing it out, guys. Obviously, like I said, one of their tackles is not elite. He's pretty bad, which is one matchup we can take advantage of, right? I actually think this is going to be pretty important for stopping the Trojans' run game. Whoever is the guy against this bad tackle, the 59.3, another tackle's solid. He's nothing spectacular. It's more that interior of the offensive line. We need to take advantage of these matchups, and we need to make plays. We need to find ways to make plays for the guys that are against these two. It's going to be so important. And how do we do that, right? Our edge play is nothing special. Micah Tufua has been so up and down this year. His grade's a 71, but the truth is, as much as his grade shows a 71, some of that is from a couple big games and then a couple real rough games, guys. As much as I would love to say that we have an elite edge defender, I think with Mika Tufua, someone commented on that the other day. Mika Tufua, sorry about that. He can be elite, but he can also be bad. The thing I like is that he has a good pass rush. Hopefully he comes out to play, and when he gets matched against these tackles, that he gets back there and makes something happen, because this interior O-line can be a group of road graders if we let them be. And how do we stop that interior offensive line? So sure, we have a D line, right? We just saw Mika Tufua. He's a real solid playmaker. Hopefully he shows up to the game and makes something happen. Let's take a look at our D line. Not exactly the best D line in the country we've got here, which is weird because usually Utah, at least when it comes to stopping the run, we have a great D line. Like, look at this. Our best guy is a 64.5. I think it's pretty obvious when you're looking at this, and I think you guys would agree with me, that we cannot rely on this D-line to match up against that O-line and make something happen. That's where, like on the back end I talked about, stopping Drake London is going to be so important, because when it comes to stopping Drake London, we need to allow our corner and safety to get back there and make plays on him. If they're not able to, we're going to start running into some headaches. The good news is, like I said, you guys have been watching the channel for a while and know how good this group is. We have a top 5, top 10 linebacker group in the country. Yeah, we've got Lloyd. Yeah, we've got Sewell. Then we've got Reed. Then we've got Fury. And we've got Reynolds. I mean, we're talking about such a legit group here. We need to get these linebackers in their face. We did a great job of it against Washington State. We put them on the line, blew up their line, and made plays in the backfield. Look at Reed. 88.7 run defense grade. I really believe against USC, this is the group. Sorry about that. This is the group that's going to make it happen. We need to load the box, 3-4 linebackers every single play. Seriously, we need to get them out there, and we need to keep rotating these guys. We got such a solid group that we need to rotate them, keep them fresh, keep them hungry. When this offensive line for USC gets tired, we need to have our guys out there making plays, fresh, ready to go. Yeah, maybe they're not quite the talent across the board that USC's O-line is, but those 5, I mean, you look at those 5, we just went over USC's offensive line. They win. If you look at that matchup, they win, especially in those run defense grades. And they're all solid coverage guys except Reynolds. But either way, Real solid group of guys. I want to see us switching them in and out. I want to see us keeping them fresh. This is the group that's going to lead this defense to the promised land. I want them all seeing lots of reps, and I want us getting them fresh out there. I'm really excited for that part of the matchup. But either way, this offensive line could be a lot of trouble if we don't, make a play and try to figure it out. Now let's go back to talking about USC. Really cool news is the tight end group for USC, real bad. So we're going to be able to allow our linebackers to be up in the box making plays. We can put a lot of different guys against these tight ends. Just take a look at the group we're talking about here. Look at that. Do you think any of those guys can make plays on any of our linebackers? Seriously, we can send 2 or 3 guys every play. If they want to send these guys out here to play against our linebackers, good luck, dude. Seriously, if we show up the way this linebacker group has showed up week after week, I really think we not only have a shot, I think we match up fantastically against USC. Now, am I going to go out of my way to say that we're going to go ahead and smash USC? No, I don't think so. I think there's a couple more matchups I'm going to talk about on their defense. But take a look at that offense. I mean, did you guys really feel that we were overmatched? I really think it's going to be our linebackers and our D-line against their O-line, against their running backs. That's going to be the matchup. I really think we match up well against Drake London, and we're going to play smash mouth football, and that's what our defense does best. We need to stop these running backs from making the big plays. Go watch Colorado. That's how they start getting going with Drake London. The running backs start breaking away those 20, 25-yard gains, and then you have to move guys up into the box that wouldn't necessarily be there, and then they start to work you with Drake London. We need our linebackers to play how they played all season, make it happen, and then we're just going to move forward, and we're going to be able to take on Drake London, or at least limit him to 80 to 100 yards and keep him contained. We just can't let him go off on us. And I think we're going to be able to do that. All right, and now let's talk about USC's defense. So USC's corners, we don't really have any receivers that I can point out and say that are going to just work these corners. The good news is we do have tight ends that can work these corners, right? It's been one of our strong suits all year. When they match us up against corners, we're able to use the physicality and the size of our tight ends. But let's take a look at USC's cornerback room. Pretty similar to ours, right? I would actually say we have a better cornerback room. They have 1 good corner, 1 average corner, 2 bad corners. We need to be able to take advantage of those 3rd and 4th wide receiver matchups. Pick on these guys that aren't that good. Look at those coverage grades on those 3rd and 4th corners. Do you think those guys are going to be able to keep up with Britton Covey? Excuse me, sorry, but you think those guys are going to be able to keep against Britton Covey and Solomon Enos if they're showing up to the game and looking good? No. What's going to happen is, I'm guessing, when with our tight end group, once they start to realize that they need to stop these tight ends, if we can work them into the game like we should, they're going to have to put the good corners on our tight ends, which if that happens, or if it doesn't happen, let's keep feeding them. But if it does happen, we have a tight end group that can really take advantage of that. Dalton Kincaid, number 17 in the entire country, a 75.6 receiving grade, solid blocker. Guy's a beast. He's someone we need to get involved. All right, and then USC, their safeties, a real advantageous matchup here too, guys. We got a real shot at working the safety. So one thing I want to show you guys, we're going to talk about it here in a little, how important our run game is going to be in this, which it's been so hit or miss all year. But I do want to show you guys something about USC, their safety. So they have 1 very good safety, right? Or at least good. And he's a very good coverage safety. The other 2 safeties are pretty bad. I mean, that's pretty terrible. If we can get those guys on the field, if we can run the ball, work play action, take our shots over the top, which Cam Rising has the arm to do, we have a real shot at working over these 2 safeties. Do you really think these guys are doing anything to us? Chase Williams and Isaiah Pola-Mao? Look at that. Other than Kalen Bullock, who's number 27, we'll want to avoid him. But the other two we can pick on, but we need to work the run game, right? So this is the matchup, guys. This is the one we're going to get excited about. So USC, their linebacker group. Let's let it load for a second, but once it pulls up, I think you guys are going to be about as excited as I am. So USC's linebacker group, where ours is one of the top units in the country, theirs must be by far one of the worst. Look at that group. That makes their safety group look legendary, right? Look at those guys. Look at these coverage grades. Look at these run defense grades. I mean, there's no way these linebackers can keep up with our run game. I think what's going to be key is working our running backs up the middle, taking advantage of these crappy linebackers and making plays in the run game up the gut. We need them to start moving up, moving guys into the box, because if they don't, we're going to have problems. I'll show you in a minute, but let's talk about where our matchups are. So obviously, we all know we don't have a great offensive line. They don't have any spectacular interior D linemen. They have one good one, one average one. If we can get Daniels, our guard, up against the good interior offensive lineman, sorry, spaced out, but if we can get our Daniels against their good D lineman or good defensive tackle, we're going to have a shot to move these guys. So obviously, their other tackle's not garbage. He's an average D tackle. Oh wait, this is USC. So our tackle's not garbage. Their D tackle, their second one, is average. But our guard play, we have one solid guy. Look at these two, man. Like, as much as our line's been such a disability for our team, for lack of a better word, look at these run blocking grades for Daniels and for Keaton Bills. 70 and a 73.4. These two can match up with those two D tackles, right? Or those two interior defensive players. We can hit them in the mouth. We can move them. We can get second level. We can get our running back second level, and we can make a play. Now, center play, not so great, right? Center play has been real rough. Let's pull him up here. I think his name's Nick Ford. Like I said, I don't always like calling out the bad players by name. Who knows if their family's listening or if they're listening. I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. Just trying to give the facts here. So look at this guy, Nick Ford. Yeah, 52.7. At least he has an okay run blocking grade. Still bad, but not like awful. 52 overall grade. I mean, this is pretty bad. That their pass blocking grade's really terrible. But if we can show up and block in the middle, we saw their linebackers. They're nothing special. If we can make plays against that interior D line, we have a running back room that is set to go off on these guys, okay? We really do. It is a room that is set to make plays, make big things happen, and really change the way our season's going. This is the matchup, right? Micah Bernard, obviously been a beast a lot of the year. TJ Pledger smashing the ball last game. Tavion Thomas, if he fumbled once at practice, I don't want him touching the ball. But if he's got that figured out, let's run a committee and let's make it happen. We just can't have any weak spots in that committee because at USC, there's a lot of talent here. We can't be sloppy. We need the best players. We need our best play out there. We need to make it happen. And now this final position group, I'm sure a lot of you guys are wondering when I was going to get here. So this is an important group, right? These are the edge defenders for USC. They are legit. They honestly, I wrote it down, probably the best edge duo in the country. If someone has a better duo, you can point it out to me. But I think these two match up well against anybody. We have played team after team after team of elite edge players. Seriously. It's San Diego State, Washington State, and now USC all have legit edge rushers. But Washington State, we won, and we held back their edge rushers. But look at these two guys. The number 9 edge rusher in the country, Tui Pelutu. And then we have Drake Jackson. Jackson had a ton of hype heading into the season. Look at Tuli Pelutu, his run defense. ridiculous. Look at the pass rush on Drake Jackson. Seriously. So this is why we need to run up the gut. We need to make plays up the interior of the defense, and we need to make it happen. Because if these two can just smash our quarterback and smash our running back all day, it's going to be rough, guys. These are not just regular guys. These are NFL level guys, okay? We need to make a game plan that works around this talent. These two are going to light our team up if we let them. This is really where the game's going to happen. Neither one of our tackles can handle these guys in either the run or the pass, right? I mean, we want to find matchups if we can, but I think just obviously we can't just completely avoid them, but if we can work, game plan ways to just get away from these guys. I mean, jeez, dude, look at the two guys we got going against them. Hopefully these other guys, Simi Moala, I mean, it's still not great. It's like barely average. And going against elite guys, I mean, this could be a rough go here. But either way, I really believe if we can make it happen up the gut with the run game, we're gonna see promising results. All right, so just some closing thoughts for you here, guys. That kind of was just a breakdown. I hope that gave you guys an idea what to look for. There's a lot going on there, but I think we know the matchups, right? Closing thoughts. Can Rising step up and make it happen? You know for sure, after I showed you that, no matter how well this game goes, no matter how well we game plan it, Rising's going to have to scramble, right? It's going to happen. Hopefully his ability to scramble is enough to at least tide Drake Jackson, right? Because he's going to get back there. It's going to happen, but hopefully he can scramble, throw a dump off. I mean, we need screens worked in. We need to find ways to get the ball in players' hands, work the linebacker matchups. But either way, can Rising rise to the occasion? Can he make it happen? Can he step up to the plate? This guy has had 2 real up and down games. He's the guy we're going with from here on, at least for the time being. Hopefully he can make something happen. I'm excited to see the guy out there. I really hope this could be a big day for him. Working that run game, making it happen with the play action is going to help Rising a lot. The second big thing is, can we run the ball? Our run game has been so all over the place with this offensive line deciding which weeks they want to, which weeks they don't want to block. We're going to have 2 weeks off up before this game. We need to come out healthy. We need to come out determined. We need to come out ready to grind that ball, let our running backs make plays. I swear to God, if that offended anybody, I swear to God, if I see 2 to 3 free rushers every play again, I'm going to lose it. It's unacceptable. This is a D1 Pac-12 offensive line. We don't let that happen. All right, the third thing, we just chatted about it. Can we stop these edge rushers? Can we do chip blocks with the tight ends, chip blocks with the running backs? It's going to be a necessity to slow these guys down, to have any chance of stopping these 2 edge rushers. They're going to be mean. They're going to be bad. They're going to be making plays if we let them. Really, it's similar to what we're going to have to do with Drake London. We need to limit the amount of plays they can make, okay? We need to control the ball. We need to control the tempo, control the clock. And then can we stop Drake London? Drake London is a monster player. We talked about him earlier. He's number 15 on USC. This is one of the best receivers in college football. He's legit. The good thing is he's their only real receiving weapon. If we can shut him down and shut that run game down, or at least limit him and shut down that run game, we're going to make it happen. I really think taking a look at the entire team, how this game's going to go, how it'll likely go, how it might go, I think it's going to... I do not see this team moving the ball at will. Unless this offensive line just goes off and starts wrecking our linebackers. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's going to be a defensive game. It's going to be a low-scoring defensive game. It's going to be about our offense not making mistakes and taking advantage of the opportunities they're given. And our defense actually, stepping up to the plate. If they want to be one of the better defensive teams in the country, they need to make it happen. They must have a lot of emotion, a lot of pride after the loss of Aaron Lowe. Hopefully they can use that, channel it into the ability to lead this team to a big win against USC. There's two things that could happen, guys. We could, or three things, okay? We could have a real hard-fought game, and we could be looking, and we could lose, and we could be looking to the future. We could lose badly and be very distraught and very not looking brightly towards the future. Or three, we can go out there, we can smack USC in the mouth, and we can have our coming out party. We can end this week with every channel talking about, damn, Utah is the team to beat. Utah is the team that you don't want to be playing against. Nobody can move the ball on that defense. Look what USC did to Colorado, and look how Utah shut them down. That's what I'm hoping for, guys. Either way, I think we got a great game ahead of us this weekend. I couldn't be more excited. Again, I'm loving this channel. I hope you guys are loving it too. Like I said, feel free to leave any feedback. I appreciate hearing back from you guys. Like, comment, and subscribe, and have a great day, guys. Go Utes.